two, three. This time of day, everything's okay. I take a long look around, I have to say, this time of day.
Well, wasn't that something? You don't usually see your friends and neighbors start off quite like that, do you? Yeah, I'm your host, Willie Jones, of your friends and neighbors. Yeah, you might be a little surprised by what you just saw in front of your eyes, in case they were popping out just a little bit. I have a special guest today, and I've been waiting forever, it seems like, to get this young lady to come on and speak about a group called Gypsy Layne, and that's Layne, Gypsy Layne Burlesque and Cabaret. And in fact, they are going to be here in Bennington at the Old Castle Theater on February 12th and 13th. Shows are at 8 o'clock. The doors will open, I'm assuming, at 7:30. There will also be a cash bar. And the tickets are only $25. So, you know, that's not bad for a night out. And it's so much fun. It's just good, clean fun. And I know maybe that might sound a little strange, like going to burlesque, it's good, clean fun, but it really is. And I thought maybe we should start with a little definition of what burlesque is. Now, this is according to the Merriam and Webster Dictionary. Broadly humorous theatrical entertainment consisting of several items as songs, skits, or dances. And that's exactly what you get when you see Gypsy Layne performing. And one of the directors is with us this morning. I don't know whether she is I think she may be the one that started it. I'm not sure. The last I knew there were two directors, but I will check with her when we start speaking. Yeah, so my guest this morning is Nicole Rizzo, director of Gypsy Layne. Good morning or good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this show, to Nicole.
Good morning, good afternoon. Yeah. How are you, Willie?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. Excited to be here. Excited to chat.
Oh, I know. Well, Gypsy Layne, I have seen you guys now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And I have enjoyed every single time. In fact, everyone, everybody here from Cat TV is going to go on Saturday night, and we're all excited. I got everybody together, and I said I want everybody there. So I guess the first thing we need to find out is a little bit about you. Nicole Rizzo, I know you're living in Williamstown. Are you from Massachusetts originally? And
I am. I am from, well, I was born in Long Island.
Okay.
Moved here when I was about 6 and grew up in North Adams.
Oh, okay.
Left when I was 18 to go to school in New York City. Went to Circle in the Square Conservatory. Lived in New York, worked off-Broadway, dancing there. Left to move to go to California. Was there for about 5 years, working in the music video industry, choreographing more. I thought I would break into more of an acting scene there, but I ended up doing more dancing.
Oh.
And got asked to choreograph a show, which basically led me into the world of burlesque. I started working with a producer who really was, you know, interested in doing a little bit more to get a show off the ground and wanted to work with work with the art of burlesque, working with Sally Rand and Betty Page and Lily St. Cyr and
Gypsy Rose Lee.
Gypsy Rose Lee, which is where I got inspired for our name.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. So there was a lot of there was a platform, and I was like, wow, I don't know about this world. What is it? Like I need to know more. You know, long story short, our funding fell through. And we let the project go. You know, we lost our funding.
Mm.
So at that time, I decided to move back to Massachusetts. I was back in New York for about a year, and then came back here to be with my family. And I was like, you know, I don't want to let this idea go. Like, my art is still dancing, performing, and I want to tell the story about burlesque.
Right.
It hasn't been shown here in Berkshire County or in Vermont.
Yeah.
So
great idea.
So I said, well, I'm going to start a burlesque show, you know, and I held auditions, and I had a format. I said, if I'm going to bring this show here, I want to educate our audience. I want to show them this is what American burlesque has been the last century.
Right.
So every decade, starting from like 1870, we went through and did a different set. 1870s, we started in like, the brothel scene, and then moved into the can-can era, which was more like Paris and France, but that was still like a big part of burlesque, even now.
Right,
even
right.
now in Paris, right now,
Right.
you go to the city.
Right.
You go to Moulin Rouge.
Uh-huh.
And then you break into, performers like Little Egypt, and you're getting into belly dancing. And then you get into the golden age, which was like 1900 to 1930. And then you're getting into the flapper age, and then moving forward, Betty Page, Gypsy Rose Lee, and then breaking into like the go-go dancing era when you get into like the 70s. And then, it shifted a little bit, getting into a little bit of pole dancing,
Right,
I want to say, like in the 80s.
Yeah.
But there was still a burlesque scene, especially in New York. And
Right.
getting really a facelift in the 90s from like Dita Von Teese. And then 2000, it's back. I mean, you've got New York Burlesque Festival, Vermont Burlesque Festival that we just got back from a week ago.
Yeah, we'll talk
so,
about that.
yeah, I mean, it's coming back.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that our troupe has, made its mark in Western Mass and this side of Vermont. They're doing it up in Burlington. There's great things happening there. So, that was my intention. And I wanted to keep the integrity of what burlesque really means, which I love that you read that definition, because that's exactly what we do. We do skits, we do comedy, we have wonderful singers and dancers in the troupe, and we want to showcase that.
Now, you mentioned, well, first of all, yes, you just came back. It was last weekend, right? Or
it was
2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago. It was
That you went up to the Vermont Burlesque Festival.
correct,
And
21st to the 24th.
what was that like? I mean, I thought, oh my God, and it was a whole weekend, right?
It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We had 8 acts get in. So we were one of the headliners, which was such an honor,
Yeah.
because we're from Massachusetts. A
Right.
lot of the headliners were from Vermont, but there were performers there from Europe and Japan and Montreal and California. A few other troops, mostly women in those troops. It's really exciting for us because people are like, wow, you guys are the only troupe that have men
Right.
there. So
Right.
that's really fun for us. And we had acts in every night. It was a lot of fun. It was like just wonderful community, just so much empowering energy, and so much love, and it was a great community to be
You had
in.
a great photo on Facebook of all of you in a bathroom or something. Was that taken up there or sometime before you went up there?
If it was
Very
all of
funny.
us, I don't know.
There's a lot of people, nine or 10 people. There's a lot of people. in
We've
the
got
picture.
there's a great photo of us last year at Old Castle
Oh,
where we
really?
all were in the bathroom taking a photo. And,
Oh, okay.
our troupe there, some of us are hams, and we love taking photos. We love
Right,
taking
right.
backstage photos because we get all these great photos of us being on stage. But there's so much work on the back end that we put into.
Yeah, I'm
So,
sure.
and it's just fun for us to kind of get like our characters off stage.
Yeah. I know you mentioned auditions. Now, what would an audition be like? Because are people coming to you, men and women, and thinking, am I really going to have to take my clothes off? Or, how far is this group going to go? I mean, how far do you go in an audition, and what are you looking for? And are you looking for necessarily great voices and great dancers, or just people you can train to do what you want them to do?
Right, and that's a great question because I get asked a lot, what do the auditions entail? And for us, the way I hold them, and this is just from my background of holding it like I would go into a audition in New York or LA. It's an open call.
Right.
I like to teach about 3 to 4 8 counts of dancing. I just need to see if you're a mover, if you'd like to bring your own material, which we highly encourage, whether it be a monologue, whether it be a skit, a little comedy
Right.
routine, or your own dance number or your own song. We do not require people to strip. Like,
Okay.
you do not have to strip to be involved in the troupe. We would love to get more singers and dancers, but that is not a requirement. We do ask you, hey, this is one of our questions on the questionnaire. Hey, are you willing to go down to pasties if a prop drops?
Right.
You know, it's just
right. And there's
good,
no,
clean fun.
There's
Right.
no nudity, folks,
There is not.
at all. It's,
No.
No.
Right. Most of us, you know, my co-director, she was an opera performer in Boston. You
Her
know,
name is Teresa
Lorenko.
Lorenko.
And my tech designer, he's been performing in bands since he was 16. He's been traveled all over Europe. He's a wonderful tech designer. He works all over Northampton. You know, I've got performers who have been singing, dancing. They're, you know, theater majors. So they're invested. You know, they have backgrounds. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a performer. I'm looking for that wow factor, you know, whether it be a dance number, a singer, or someone who can, you know, paint a picture and, you know, create some shapes with their body or their voice. You know, I love that abstract piece of Gypsy Layne that we have, whether it be, you know, dance numbers or a song or working with fans or screens, you know. And you saw a number that you loved, the Peel Me a Grape. Where we had the screens.
Peel Me a Grape.
And, you know, she's got an attendant behind her and you're not quite sure what's happening and she's singing a song and, you know, it's just...
And she's completely dressed.
Completely dressed, yep.
And it is such a hot number, but this woman is completely dressed.
Yeah, Lacey Lovegood.
Yeah, a very, very good number. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. And yeah, you're talking about they have to have a presence or something.
Faces, Willy. Faces.
Yes.
Really, it's the faces.
There are wonderful faces because you're not always looking at the bodies. You're looking at faces and expressions and different things like that. And your MC,
Jude,
I don't know how you found this guy. He is charming. He is glib. He is wonderful with the audience. Now, did he just show up for an audition, or did somebody hear about this guy, or?
He came into the troupe as a special guest star. When I originally started the troupe, God, 6 years ago, which is just, it's mind-boggling to me. He came into the troupe as a guest star, and I loved having guest stars. Sometimes we would just have like a tapper come in or a belly dancer.
Oh, yeah, great
and they
belly
would do one,
dancer,
right?
I saw.
Yes, do a one number. So Justin and Jonathan, aka Mike Monaco and Judine,
Okay.
who do the Charles and Miranda number,
Right.
which we love.
Right, I do too.
He came in as a guest star, and I fell in love with him, and you know, decided to get him and Jonathan, Mike Monaco, involved. Justin is a singer; he does a cappella work.
Right.
He's a drummer. He's
very
he's
funny.
everything. I mean, he's super talented. He came in as a dancer, believe it or not, just as an ensemble member. And then a few years ago, you know, Teresa had said to me, Justin's got MC potential. We need to start grooming him. So we really started grooming him a few years ago to step into this role because naturally, backstage, he's so quick, he's so like impromptu with his humor, and it was second nature.
Now you're talking about Jude?
About Jude. Oh yeah,
Okay,
no, about Jude when he stepped in, and you know, we started slow at first, just kind of having him do an opening number and then do like a small skit, but now just give that guy a mic and he will just go.
Or a prop.
Or a prop, exactly.
Yeah, now,
He's got a great opening number this year.
Oh, great.
I'm so excited.
Well, the last time I saw you guys down in Pittsfield at the Whitney.
Yes.
It's an little art center down there.
Yes.
And I was with Ralph Hammond, who you know from Williamstown.
Yes.
He's a friend.
Hail
We
to
were
Ralph.
sitting there, and then this older couple came in and sat with us at our table. And next thing I knew, there was Jude leaning on the table talking to these people. Well, it turned out to be his parents that we were sitting with.
Yeah.
And they had never seen him. They had never seen him do the act, or that's what they told us that night.
Oh, wow.
And afterwards, or during the intermission, I said, well, what would you think of that? And I believe it was his father said, I haven't seen that much of him in a long time. But they were sitting there enjoying it too. But does he have, what kind of a background does he have? Because I asked him, I think that night or something, have you ever acted? Do you do shows? Do you go out and audition for plays? Or?
He does have a performance background. He is an active member of the Kirtan group in South County because he works with Kripalu and does a lot of drumming between Northampton, Stockbridge, Great Barrington. He has done a cappella groups in Northampton and then us, really.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's just that type of personality, and he loves it. He eats it up, but yeah, I think that he really takes a lot of pride. He does his homework in writing lyrics, working on his numbers. He's been doing a lot to work with these new numbers that he's got going on, especially his opening number, which is going to be a huge. I don't want to give anything away.
No, I know. I'm
but it
looking
does
forward
have
to
a
it.
Disney feel to it.
Oh,
so that is all I will say. Hint, hint.
That's great.
Wink, wink.
Little Disney is good.
Yeah.
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 Now, how you're from all over the place, right?
The troupe? Well,
Or not?
I would
not
like
too
to
bad?
think we have like a nice little, tripod effect. We started
Okay.
Berkshire County, mostly Pittsfield, but I've done shows in Williamstown
Right.
and North Adams. We go to Northampton, Iron Horse. We've been at Divas. We went up to Connecticut last year, April. Great, wonderful opportunity to perform at the Infinity Hall. Like wonderful performers. Just to be on their season was great. And then Vermont. And thank you, Vermont Arts Exchange, because this is our 4th year.
I know it.
It is incredible. So I just want to give a
Matt Perry,
Matt Perry.
Matthew Perry at the Vermont Arts Exchange started this 4 years ago at the Basement Music Series over in North Bennington, and they have a new venue now. They are downtown, and wait till you see. They've
I'm
got
very
if you get
excited.
a chance to see it. So yeah, Matt Perry was. I don't know how he found out about you guys, but I'm very happy that he did.
Yes, me too.
But now, what I meant though was, you're all of your troupe is
troupe.
all over the place,
Yes,
right? I mean,
yes.
how difficult is it to get everybody together for rehearsing, or do you rehearse chunks and then get it together at some point?
A little bit of both. So we are, I think I'm the only one in Williamstown, and then another little chunk of the troupe is in Pittsfield.
Okay.
And then the other chunk is in Chicopee, East Hampton.
Okay.
So I have a studio in Pittsfield. So we're there mostly on Wednesdays, and then our co-directors have a barn with a studio and attached to their house. So
okay.
we're there for a huge chunk of time on Sundays. So we'll do a lot of split rehearsals on Wednesdays with half the troupe, just so we're not driving, and then we'll come together on Sundays and do a very long rehearsal. And then we'll start our tech week in Pittsfield at my studio, just because it's bigger. We have a big costume shop, and go into tech for about 3 weeks. So we start our tech
wow.
this Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, and then show at Oldcastle on Friday.
And these people all have jobs.
We all have daytime jobs.
So I mean, like, I think Jude said something about, is he a masseuse or a
He is a massage therapist.
therapist?
He is also a facilitator for a rehab center.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's in Great Barrington.
Okay.
So believe it or not, a lot of the troupe members, we all work in the yoga world.
Oh, really?
Yes,
That's what
Mike
it is.
Monaco, Morgan Quigley, our amazing stage manager, who's been
Okay.
with us since day one as well. She is at Kripalu. I'm a yoga teacher, dance teacher, a freelancer. Teresa just got her yoga certificate, so she's teaching yoga. Yeah, we're all in the yoga world. So that's a big part of like our message too, is not everybody in the troupe is a size 4. There's different shapes.
I was going to
yeah.
mention that last year you opened with a girl with hula hoops,
Yes.
and she wasn't one of these skinny mini things, but she was so good, and she was having so much
so
fun,
much
and the
fun.
audience was enjoying her. But that is what I enjoy. You're not worried about looking like these models or something like
No.
that. You're women.
Right.
You are all different sizes. And now, do you still have? I know Ralph in school had someone named Jade.
Jade Roy,
She's
Cosmic
joined.
Candy.
She
yes.
has joined the troupe now.
She is going into her 2nd season with us.
And is she doing more now? Because I know
She is doing a lot more.
All right,
yes.
because I got the idea it was like she was an apprentice. couple times I
Yeah,
saw.
almost kind of like we call them like stage kittens, where
Oh,
they
stage
they
kittens.
kind of go on
Okay.
stage and pick up the clothes.
Okay.
But
Yes.
she's just walked into such a wonderful character for herself. Her name is Cosmic Candy, and yeah, she's one of our core dance
Okay. Because
girls.
Ralph said that when she did Chicago for him,
Yes.
and he said that she was just wonderful.
She was. Yeah.
Yeah. So she had heard about you guys, or she just came and.
Yeah, I mean, when I post the auditions, they go on my website, and then I'll also do like a Craigslist ad.
Okay.
And then word of mouth or up on our Facebook page, I'm always saying, we're looking for dancers. So yeah, she came in and auditioned last November and was with the troupe last season, started doing a lot of her own numbers last May. And now she came to Vermont Burlesque Festival with us. We've been really going strong since September. We were up at Sandusfield Arts Center in October, which we've never been, new venue for us. We were at the Colonial working with Bella's Bar Talk, doing this big Halloween extravaganza with called Freak Show. And then just came back from Vermont Burlesque Festival, and now we're going into Old Castle.
Right.
And then the 10 by 10 Arts Festival in Pittsfield the following weekend.
Now, when you come to Old Castle, do you have? You must have to do a bit of a tech rehearsal when you come in that day. You work well. I believe you've been working with Corey.
Corey, yes.
Wheat.
Yep. I was just talking about him today.
Okay.
We do a tech rehearsal. It's pretty much the same day because we're coming from long distances.
Right.
We come in that day and run numbers. For us, because we have so many numbers where we need to be mic'd,
Yeah.
it's a lot. There's a lot of transitions.
There is, and it seems to be very smooth.
Well, thank you.
Every
We
show I've
we
seen-
work towards that.
Every show I've seen,
Yeah.
I've never heard anything. This Grease Live that was on the other night. I don't know how they teched that show. I mean, how they did the miking and all that. That blew my mind. But no,
Yeah.
I think the miking has worked fine
Yeah.
for you guys.
Well, that's John Lucido, wonderful, like what he does, and being backstage, and we are literally backstage because we
You're
have
right.
so many quick changes. I mean, there's a wonderful green room at Old Castle, but I mean, we're there on stage right, stage left, like
Right.
doing, because it's so quick going from
Yeah.
number to number, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And we need to tell people that more, because we are a theatrical show.
It is.
I mean, it's not just one performer, which is common with some cabarets where you're just doing one performer.
Right.
We were talking before we got on the air just
Right.
about I love ensemble numbers where there's
I do
groups of
too.
us,
I love the
and get this
ensemble.
like SNL feel, and we're all doing it together. That's fun for us. It's comedy. It's wit, and it makes it heightened, and I feel like we attract the audience more. We get them more in. I mean, don't get me wrong, the solos, and we have wonderful solo performers. But for me, I love being an ensemble member. I'm not one of our strongest character actors or character burlesque performers. Like I'm the dancer. I'm the choreographer, and that's my strong suit.
Okay.
But I love just helping my team member, like in that number, just go forth. It's really fun for me.
And I like the way you really bring the audience into it. I mean, the audience begins to feel they're part of it. And I think that's there's a lot of eye contact with the audience. Last year, I saw Jude do it twice with taking somebody from the audience and doing an act with him. My friend
boy.
Kathy Chianowski, he got her last year. Absolutely hysterical. And he just plays along, and she played along, and we just couldn't believe how involved she got with it. But that's what I mean about him. He molded her to really do something with
The
him
monologue.
that night. Oh,
yes.
God, that's
yes,
funny.
I remember her. She was fantastic.
And the lady down the Whitney was too. I mean, it was just very, very funny. Now, you're talking about the backstage. I'm sure at Old Castle, actually with Ralph Hammond, I first did a show called Greater Tuna. It's 2 actors, 20 characters. And I did it again at Oldcastle quite a few times, and we had a lot of quick changes because we were playing 20 different people.
Wow.
And well, one dog and 19 people. But it looked like, especially my side, like a hurricane had gone through. I mean, I was not that, I don't know, I just wasn't that neat. And actually, after a while, towards the end, we both got a little crazy. Rick Howe, who is it with Oldcastle, I did it with him. So how, do you have like a costume mistress, or you said that Morgan, you said now, so she needs to keep track of all this stuff.
She is wonderful. She spearheads that entire backstage, and you know, it really starts from our rehearsals, creating an etiquette within each troupe member to really take care of their own things.
That was I was going to ask that too.
Yeah, really, we work on that going into tech. And it's actually really great for us being at Oldcastle because we have so much space, which we do not always have that much space going into different venues. So we are so grateful for all of that space.
At the
but yeah, everybody's really respectful. You know, we have prop tables, and Oldcastle is great with, like, you know, helping us get any extra clothing racks and tables, and you know, with our mics. I mean, they're wonderful to work with. It's really a great collaboration between Gypsy Layne, Vermont Arts Exchange, and Oldcastle. I mean, going to these shows, I mean, you know, Willie, people are dressing up, and like, it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
It's
no,
great.
some people come prepared. I just come as Willie, but a lot of people like to come and maybe they got a boa around them or something or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, are you responsible for getting your own costumes, or do you all work together on the costume? Do you have like a seamstress or somebody that works on costumes?
You know who is great? Who is our actual?
Because there are a lot of costumes, folks. Really, there are a lot of costumes.
Yes, there's probably close to 50.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Maybe more. Yeah. I have a wonderful woman that I work with. Her name's Kathy Kieran. She's in Pittsfield. She runs Bespoke. Every time I need something, like I just ran to her a few days ago. I got shoes, I needed gowns, and she just, here you go. Like, she's wonderful. But who fixes everything is Jade.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, she's done a lot of sewing. So whenever we need, Jade makes our pasties. She sews them.
No.
She sews our clothes.
Now, those
were bought, but yes.
These are tassels.
These
aren't really, well, they're not really pasties, are they?
Well, they're pasties with tassels attached.
Okay, but so you have to use that
double-sided tape, yes, which you can now purchase at Rite Aid.
Well, I bought these as a souvenir the very first time I saw you guys. And actually, I think it was Jade last year who was the person going around with the box with stuff.
Yep,
and,
cigarette girl.
Yeah, the cigarette girl. And my question about these and double-sided tape, doesn't it hurt after a while, or do they really come off easily? How do you prepare, and how do you take care of yourself after you remove these? Because you put on different ones.
Yes, but it's just like a Band-Aid.
So you just rip it off. Okay.
It's really not that uncomfortable.
Okay.
Although I say that, and some of my girls may say that's not true, because, you know, there's been a little sensitivity.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I mean, I would think.
But generally, no.
And G-strings. I mean, now, are you
Merkins?
Are you,
Merkins.
And, yes, Merkins. Yeah, yes, it's Merkins. Is everyone responsible for cleaning their own stuff, or do you have to take them to the cleaners after you've done a show? Or?
They clean their own. Undergarments, and I will usually take the costumes home, like the bigger costumes, and I'll wash them myself. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we are self-sufficient. We do this ourselves. I mean, I am the producer of the show. You know, this is a big labor of love for all of us, and that's one thing I really like to let people know when they are auditioning. We do this because we love this art. We love performing. We love reaching out to people and getting people to come to us, you know, outside and just say, you know, I feel good about myself. Like I feel beautiful. I feel wonderful. Like, you know, thank you. Like it's so refreshing. It's just great to be of service to people and to honor this art form, because I don't think it gets shown enough as much as it should around here.
Right. No, I think if you go to New York City or Chicago, maybe the bigger cities,
LA,
LA, you're going to see, you're more likely to see acts like that, like you have. And folks, if you're thinking, oh, I went last year, they have a whole new program this year. There may be a couple of things that they're adding that they've done before. Yeah, some of the favorites, and one of my favorites is going to be there. And what's the name of the show this year? Do you have a title for it, or is it just?
We don't have a name of. Nope.
Okay.
This one's just Gypsy Layne Cabaret Company. Mm-hmm.
Now, Gypsy, you said Gypsy Rose Lee. Why did you spell Layne with a Y?
Well,
come to think of it,
truth be told, I initially went to spell it as L-A-N-E, like
there's
Gypsy
a band
Layne.
or something.
But yes, the domain was taken.
Uh-huh.
But I will say that I love the idea of putting the Y in it, because there's a Y in Gypsy and it's just 5 letters each, and it just works.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I like it
it's
too.
It's like a name, you know?
Yeah.
So it really works,
Yeah,
and
it does
just
work.
it vibes like Gypsy Layne. It just you know, it flows. It's an ebb and flow.
Now, you work in many different venues. How do you adapt to a venue? Now, Old Castle, I think, probably is a good venue, an easy venue.
It is.
When you're at the Whitney, that was a long, narrow room.
Yes.
Very small stage.
Mm-hmm.
There did a little work. Charles and Miranda did a little work out in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think with having a crowd so far away like that, you really have to exude those expressions and make sure you're getting the smiles and stuff like that.
Yeah. And, you know, that's one thing that you can lose when you do these intimate shows. For us, we don't like to do huge shows of like 200 people. I mean, they're great and it's wonderful. We've done them, but there's so many little details in the numbers, like so many little props that you need to see. And, for us, like we don't want the audience to lose that. It has been tricky getting into backstage areas with different venues, because sometimes we've only had a space 8 by 8 feet where we have to get a clothing rack in there. We're all doing our own like quick changes, mic changes, with a mirror, reapplying makeup, just making sure that things are on and sticking.
Right. Yeah, and sticking.
And it can be tricky.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it could be very, very tricky. And yeah, you have to keep changing your mics. You have to. Oh, gee, I don't know. I'm
practice.
Yeah, I'm sure. So everybody is responsible more or less for their own stuff. Now, when you decide, do you have to decide as a majority? Yeah, this is the act, or how do you decide which acts you're going to do? Because I'm sure you must come up, like you mentioned Saturday Night Live, they have a lot of material, they think they're going to do it, and then they don't do it. So do you have that same problem where maybe this will work, maybe it won't? So maybe we'll try it out, we'll take it out if it doesn't work.
Exactly. And we do have a system. Every year we hold a meeting at the beginning of the year, usually the end of the summer, and we will bring to the table, okay, these are the numbers that we may want to bring back. We ask the troupe members, okay, if you want to audition a number for Teresa and I, we'd love to see you audition a number. Or, hey, we think you didn't do last year's number long enough. You've only done it once. You need to give it more of a life. Like, keep working on it.
Right.
And then, for Teresa and I, a lot of times, like, we're thinking big picture. So for me, I'm thinking new openers, new finales, new second act closers, new songs where we can sing together, just to bring the troupe more as a group together, because some of the numbers are only 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. And every few months, like, the troupe members are, I have a new number to audition.
Okay.
I mean, we have so much material
I'm sure
to work with. And I have to say, this season, most of our numbers are new, and it's incredible. Like the system that we have. But yeah, I mean, there have been some numbers where we're like, yeah, you know, let's keep that on the back burner. Like, it's not ready just yet to keep working on. And everybody's great. You know, there's not a lot of egos. And
Is
that's
it basically, I'm thinking, I know the two that were doing the Sonny and Cher.
Yes, Doña Dragona and Body Rip Snorter.
Right. It was very
Teresa
good.
and John.
And I can remember him with the mustache and falling off, and she ended up putting on the mustache and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And but have you ever had any costume malfunctions like Janet Jackson?
Yes, we have.
Oh dear.
There have been a few times where a pasty has flown off.
Oh dear.
What do we do? Well, we have a hand.
You have a hand. That's right. Just like Janice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and oh yes, I mean, I have fallen on I've fallen on stage. Jonathan, we had this huge runway back in an old venue, and he had these huge, Mike Monaco, these red platform shoes on, and just splat.
Yeah. You said the big, long red boots.
Yeah, go-go boots.
Did
Yeah.
you see Kinky Boots?
I have not seen it yet, but I know. I need to see that. I know.
Yeah, they got a lot of kinky. They got a lot of red boots in that
Yes,
show.
I heard.
Now you also, which surprised me, you also do classes.
Yes.
Now, if I would look like a walking bleached whale, but if I came into you and I auditioned, and I said, I think you need a heavy person in this show. I think it'll get some laughs. What would you do with me? Or anybody that comes in to your classes? Do they do they get to do what they want to do, or you teach them how to, I don't know, are you teaching them acting or just dancing? I guess that's what
I'm the one that holds most of the classes, and for me, we've done a few burlesque workshops, which is more about the tease. So we'll give them a prop, whether it's like a fan or a boa, or maybe gloves, working with kind of taking it off, just the tease of it.
Gloves are great.
Gloves are great, right? Yeah, so you know, it's very easy, simple, touch and go. Like, we just want to let people feel empowered and just kind of work with this prop in their body and get comfortable. If I'm doing a dance, like I've done some dance like a gypsies, I'll take a number from one of our shows, which is mostly, I love that you have Fosse right in front of you.
Yes, I have
that's my
a book
background.
about the Fosse, yes.
What I love to do, my strong numbers in the show are, you know, super Broadway Fosse style, like cabaret style.
Razzle dazzle. I mean, you do a lot of Chicago.
Yeah,
last year.
I mean, just hail to Bob Fosse.
Oh, I know.
So sometimes when I've done like classes, I'll say, okay, we'll do warm ups, and then we do across the floor, and then I'll teach them an actual piece from the show, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, they love it, and then they come to the show and they're like, oh, this is so exciting. You know, last year I taught a bunch of women and men. Candyman, Christina Aguilera. It was the one we had the lollipops.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that
which
was,
we
that
brought
was
to
very
Vermont.
funny.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah.
For us. Yeah.
So, do you have all ages coming in? Do you have older people coming in too?
Yeah,
because
just
a lot of older people like to get into the Zumba and all these different things.
Absolutely.
Yoga.
Yeah.
I know 80-year-old women that are still doing yoga.
Oh, there was a woman who came to the show in Vermont when we did the festival, and she was 70, and she's like, this is what I wanted for my birthday. So it was her birthday, and it was just so much fun. Yeah, I mean, I think that this is why people 20 to 80, 90 are coming to this show.
Yeah.
Because we're not a neo-burlesque troupe. We're classic. We still go very contemporary. But I want to respect the roots of burlesque, but I also want to, dive us into, contemporary arts, but still stay true to a lot of choreographers and, art that's being put out there right now. That's what excites me. And I think that's what is exciting other troupe members. And every troupe member, every character has it dialed in. You know, like Lacey Lovegood is, you know, she's a singer and does these classic strips, and then she's got this quirkiness. And Morgan is like our super, you know, Gypsy Rose Lee, like Betty Page, like classic strips. Donya is all about empowering women. Cosmic is, you know, the dancer, and, you know, Jude is the MC, and everything's, you know, super like quirky and funny. Mike Monaco is our, you know, classic male burlesque performer, and he's just, he did like 4 numbers in Vermont Burlesque. He got in with 4 numbers. He was just great. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing him.
Do you do a lot of, before your shows, do you have a warm-up type of routine that you all do, or everybody has their own little way to warm up?
No, everybody pretty much warms up on their own stretching, maybe doing a little bit of yoga, a little bit of dancing, but, you know, we usually just jump right in. You know, we're now at the point where we're just in crunch time getting ready for these shows, and feel really great. We're in great shape.
I like the fact that you have like this little opening act. Last year it was the young woman with the hula hoops. The first year, who was it? Did you have I can't remember. It might have been from.
I think it might have been an opening band that Vermont Arts Exchange had.
Okay, that was for the basement series. Then the first year at Oldcastle, I just don't remember, but I can't remember what somebody was doing something. I can't remember.
Who was it?
But I think that's kind of a fun way to get the audience ready for what's coming. Now, do you go and look for old burlesque skits? Can you find old burlesque skits and try to use them? Or do you have to get permission to use them?
No. No, we don't. I mean, most of them are on YouTube, you know, so they're there. And, you know, once everything's on YouTube, it's pretty much open. And I think for us, we just want to get inspired. And, you know, I know that, like, Morgan really loves to work with the fans. They're gorgeous.
Oh, fans are
you know,
wonderful.
and that is, it's common to work with fans in burlesque. You know, a lot of us like working with props, but I don't think we ever try to recreate a number.
Okay.
But as artists, I think that we all steal from each other. You know, we all borrow tricks of the trade and, you know, and get inspired. You know, Lady Gaga got inspired from David Bowie, you know, from her name. And it's, you know, we're always recycling new acts, new numbers, but how can we make the twist and how can we make it our own? You know, and that's what we really thrive to do. And like, how can we make it exciting? And you're going to see that in this show, because it's really, all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is, oh, no, it's not.
Oh, okay.
You know, so, I want to tell you so much, but I don't want to.
Right. That's all right.
I don't want to share anything.
Yes,
I just keep thinking of all of these new numbers that we have, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for you to see this.
I'm talking to Nicole Rizzo, who is one of the directors of Gypsy Layne Burlesque and Cabaret, and they will be at Oldcastle Theater on February 12th and 13th, 8 o'clock. I'm sure the doors will open at 7:30. There will be a cash bar, only $25. Probably it wouldn't hurt to get your reservations early, because it does fill up. I know, especially Friday night, it's usually hard to get into, but it is a fun evening. Talking about older people, do you know the choreographer, actress Marge Champion? She lives down, she and her husband Gower Champion were famous for they were in a lot of the old 40s musicals, 50s musicals, and she's now 90, and there's this other person that she met when they were doing Follies years ago.
Okay.
One of my favorite, I love Sondheim, and they are 90, and there's a movie out now, a documentary. She and this man, who I cannot remember his name, they go to a studio in New York City every single day, 90 years old. They work at the bar, they choreograph, and they're 90 years old.
Wow.
And I am amazed that they can, especially, I mean, it can't be, I just can't believe it would be easy. Now, do you guys have to, there's a lot of movement and stuff. Do you have to go see chiropractors and doctor, I mean, or massage, I mean, Jude, does he have to do a little massage work on some of you guys? Or
he does, believe it or not. Sometimes before rehearsals, even shows, he'll do some body work on us.
Oh, yeah.
have an osteopath and go to a chiropractor. But also I know that yoga really helps me. So I'll get on the mat and do some stretching. Teresa goes to a chiropractor. I think that the amount of dancing in the show, it's not super dance heavy, like a big, I mean it is, but it's not that we're doing it, 7 performances a week. I have great troupe members and they all take care of themselves immensely. I have many rules, like nobody drinks before a show or during a show. I'm a strict director, producer in that way. And and they all want to take care of themselves. So it's a good, it's a good way to check in.
What happens, like, if all of a sudden next Friday night, Jade, God forbid, would come down with the flu or something like that?
Right.
Have different people learned not just their own numbers, but another person's number just in case you have to make a change?
Mm-hmm. I have understudied a couple of times. We have taken numbers out if we can't do it.
Right.
I will tell you, true story, Judine, the first time we performed for Vermont Arts Exchange at the North Bennington location, Jude was sick as a dog. Very, very sick, running to the bathroom. And he and I were the second number going on to do Steam Heat. And he pulled it together.
Steam Heat.
Steam Heat. And I said, because I would have gone out there, I would have done it myself. I would have just done it myself. And he was like, nope, I got it. So he was okay. I mean, I remember one year I performed with like 103 temperature.
Oh, God. I don't know
but
how you do
I
it.
think we, the show must go on,
The
Willy.
adrenaline,
You know what
the
I mean?
adrenaline,
Your adrenaline
yeah.
kicks in, and I have friends who perform on Broadway right now, and they perform sick. They take care of themselves, and then they rest when they need to. So the show must go on, and yeah, we do have contingency plans sometimes, but sometimes we have to just make a quick decision.
Are there foods or liquids that you try to stay away from?
I know for the singers, it's always, staying away from milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything like that, milk or anything.
From milk.
Because milk causes mucus.
Yeah, spicy foods. Like I don't always eat a big meal before I go on performing. Matthew's really great at getting us a big, nice food, little dinner after our shows. So that's really great. But yeah, spicy foods for me, like nothing huge. Yeah. Everybody pretty much eats what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. No diet restrictions.
No diet restrictions. All right. Yeah, because you got to keep fit for those costumes that you're putting on. You got to be careful at Thanksgiving and Christmas and all those times, I would imagine.
Yeah, but if we don't, it's okay. Like Morgan just said to me, she had a performance and she's like, oops, my dress is a little tight and coming off. And I was like, she's like, no, it's okay.
Does any of the troupe perform with any other groups or audition for? No, they don't.
But they all do different acts. Like Taylor has her own band. Teresa is doing a production of Hair in Pioneer Valley.
Oh. Yeah,
so but not any other burlesque troupes or cabaret troupes. Nope, just us. But yeah, I think that's great. They should do their own,
Right.
I like to do my outside things. I mean, I'm a freelance choreographer, so I'm working with the school systems and constantly putting on shows with high school kids. And, I was just at Drury doing Grease.
With Len Radin?
Len's gone.
Yeah, he left.
Yep, it's Kate Caton now. So we just did Grease over the fall, and now I'm at Berkshire School doing In the Heights. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In the Heights.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that reminds me of Hamilton. Everybody, my God.
Oh, I know. Everyone's going to see Hamilton. I know, exactly.
It is. I have the CD, and it's amazing because I'm not really a fan of rap, but wow, I mean, it's an amazing show.
I know.
What gave you the idea or whatever that you wanted to be a dancer? What was it that led you to dancing? Do you remember the first? Was it a movie you saw, a show you saw? I can do that. I want to do that.
I don't know if it was a movie or music or just movement in my body, but
Yeah.
I honestly can say that, I mean, I feel like I've been dancing since I was a baby. I mean, I feel like I've just been dancing my entire life. I cannot remember a time that I wasn't dancing. I mean, definitely there were, you know, pivotal points where I was like, oh my goodness, this movie, you know, I mean, Flashdance, come on. Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Footloose,
Footloose.
Grease. I mean, I just fell in love with musicals and, you know, just
Footloose. The beginning of Footloose with all the feet.
the feet.
I think that it. I taught third grade for 29 years, and we had VCR, and I had a tape, and I taped stuff from the beginning of Footloose, Singing in the Rain, the Sharks and the Jets, their big fight.
Yep.
Oh God, what else did I have in there? Two things. Him is doing Singing in the Rain, Gene Kelly, and because I wanted kids, and Hello Dolly, Barbara Streisand, I just wanted kids to get a feeling for musicals.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad lately television is bringing musicals to us,
Glee?
which is great. There was been Grease and Peter Pan and
Glee? I mean, just
Glee.
pulling from musicals.
Right.
Yeah.
Glee was yes, and introduced young people, and that's one of the problems with theater is trying to get young people into theater. And I think musicals are really making a comeback. I hope so, anyways, because there's nothing like it going to New York City or any place, and the curtain opens or that overture starts, and you are just, that's it. I'm in heaven.
Right.
There's
No, I
nothing
agree.
like it. And the same way I feel if I come to see Gypsy Layne. I mean, it's just, I know I'm going to have a fun time. I can relax. I can, as I said, there's, I think, 15 or 16 of us coming from Cat TV
We're very
to
excited.
see you guys on Saturday. And I asked Matt if we could have 3 tables right in the front.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited that I can watch them because I have had a chance so many times, and I could. Last year, one of the women that came with us, she was like this. She was embarrassed. She didn't. I couldn't believe it because I didn't think she was that type. That she didn't want to look. She didn't want to get picked. Nobody, stay away from me. But it's wonderful to watch the people around me too, and
It
how they
is.
react. And I'm sure you get that feeling too.
Oh, absolutely. I
From
mean,
the audience.
we get so much of our energy from the audience. I mean, sometimes when there's a quiet audience, like
That's got to be hard.
it's Oh yeah, it's interesting. But when we have an audience that just gets it,
Yeah.
and they are just, I'm here. I am here to support you. Then we are like, oh, we're so ready. Like that just gives us so much more. So we need the audience as much as you need to be there.
And that Friday night crowd, I think that's great because it's the end of the work week.
Yes.
And if they've gone out and had dinner and a drink or something, and then they come in,
The Friday,
I think they're happy.
I agree. Yeah,
I think-
I think Friday night shows are great. You know, I
Oh,
know
yeah.
everyone sometimes likes to wait till Saturday.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I love
Friday.
the Friday night. Yeah.
that opening night. Well, I know we don't have much time left here. I just once more, February 12th and 13th at the Old Castle Theater, $25. Show starts at 8. Probably, I would imagine the doors will be at 7:30. There'll be a cash bar. Nicole and this troupe, who are so much fun, will be there. And I'm looking forward to it so much, and I thank you. I know you've got a very busy schedule right now, all of you, and that you could take the time up and to do this, because I've been wanting to do this for a while.
Oh, well,
So,
thank you, Willie. We are so grateful to be here. I'm sorry I didn't have more troop members
well,
to be
maybe
here.
we could do another time.
Yes,
Maybe we can
we
get
will
some
be-
more
yes,
people
let's
another
come
time.
back.
That would be
Definitely.
fun. That would be fun.
Well, we want to thank you so much for supporting us, and we're very excited to
Okay.
have you and the whole crew come to the show.
Okay.
Brand new show. It's going
Good.
to be lots
Yeah,
of fun.
brand new folks. So
Yeah.
don't think, oh, it's the same show you saw last year or the year before. So I want to thank everybody, well, especially Nicole for being here today, and for everybody who is tuning in to watch Cat TV. Your friends and neighbors will be back in a while. And also, this show will probably be on a couple weeks. So next week, the show will be next week. So we'll probably the week after, it'll just be fun to listen to Nicole and I talking about burlesque, because the show will be over by then. So thank you so much. And again, Nicole, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Goodbye.